Hey everybody, this is Attorney Kenneth Stevens from the law firm Stevens, Reed & Armstrong PLLC, and today I want to talk to you all about when to litigate. When should you actually go into litigation? But before I do, I want you all to get in the comments and let me know what's your favorite form contract. Is it the AIA, or do you even use a form contract? Do you have a custom one? And if you prefer a form contract, or you don't, or you have a custom one, let's talk about why. Let's talk about the pros and cons of these things. Share it in the comments. Maybe it's helpful to another contractor. Anyway, let's get back to when to litigate. I'm going to make some statements against firm interest right now. For the most part, especially in construction, litigation is often not the best idea. I mean, it's not a great business move. There's limited circumstances when I think that you should be in litigation or arbitration, and the first determining factor, in my opinion, is the amount in dispute, right? I mean, if we're talking about anything, really, anything even less than like $100,000, well, you're pushing it. Because I can tell you, arbitration gets really, really expensive really quickly, and litigation can get pretty expensive really quickly when you start adding in attorney's fees and expert fees and things of that nature. And so, I understand that you've been wronged sometimes, but you have to look at it from a business standpoint. Does it make sense for me to go spend, $50,000 to $100,000 to try and collect $50,000 to $100,000? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I think that when you start talking about 20 grand in dispute, 15 grand in dispute, I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense. The next thing that I think that you have to consider is the relationship. And I guess you maybe even want to consider that first, right? So it's just a second prong. I'm not putting these in any particular order, but I think you need to look at, okay, is this a company that we have a long-term relationship with? Is this a company that we want to have a long-term relationship with? And I think that that plays a role in, whether you take a case to litigation, because I can tell you, nothing ruins a business relationship faster than, putting a person on the stand and having them cross-examined or a nasty deposition. So again, I don't know if you all think about that before you litigate, but I think that you should. The third thing that I think that you have to take into consideration is the merits. You gotta remove your emotion from the situation. You gotta sit back and think about it from how would a juror, a judge, an arbitrator look at this case and decide it. And that's very hard to do sometimes. So I suggest, if we're talking about a lot of money in dispute, I suggest you bring somebody in. Maybe you meet with a lawyer, maybe you meet with a consultant and say, hey, we're not sure that we want to go into litigation on this yet. We don't really have the business relationship with this company, so we don't really mind there. There's a lot of money in dispute, so we think we want to go after this money, but we don't want to throw good money after bad. So what are we looking at? Let's do the analysis, and let's try to remove those who are making the decision from a place of emotion and get the opinions and reports of those who can look at this thing objectively and decide whether or not you should go that route. It's really that simple. So, look at those three things. The next time you have a dispute come up and you're deciding whether or not you want to litigate it, and if you decide to go that route, then more power to you. Just know what you're getting yourself into. I'll do another video talking about what to expect in litigation on another day. Anyway, again, let's get in the comments. Let's talk about what your favorite contracts are, because I kind of want to know these things. I'm sure some other contractors want to know what you use and why. And as always, share this and happy building.
Introduced.